All right, so we have been talking about symptoms and understanding your triggers and knowing the difference between your symptoms and triggers. Very important also, before we talk a little bit about step 3, is to understand what are my triggers, and then of course what are my symptoms. But let's finish up talking about relapse symptoms. We talked about symptoms. You talk about what? Irritability, anger. I remember there's an acronym that has been used around in AA for a long period of time called HALT.
Who?
Anybody remember that? What is HALT?
Hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Right. Been for years. Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. Basically, if you have any of those, don't make decisions based on that. When you get hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And so you need to do something, right, if any of those things really hit you, especially if you are, in recovery. Hungry, simple solution. What? Go get something to eat. Angry, then you need to do what?
Calm down.
Well, and we're going to talk about that. Where's the anger coming from, right? Why is it coming from? There's nothing wrong with being angry, but you do not have to what? You don't have to respond on that anger, right? You don't have to do something based on your anger. At some point, every shooting, every murder that occurred this year, somebody got what? Angry, right? I guarantee you. Everybody that's sitting in jail right now that shot somebody or did something, whatever, as usual, coming down 55th, and it's the normal, I got so used to it, and I heard the other police scanner, somebody early this morning, something happened, police and et cetera, and I guarantee you somebody got angry. And when anger is not controlled and it overflows, then it makes you do what?
Something drastic. That's
Right. Right. So your emotions, your anger emotions become overwhelmed, and then you do some things that you normally most of the time would not do.
Yeah.
And then most of the time, how many people, how many people do you think that's sitting up in Cook County right now that regret the decision they made?
A lot of them.
Right?
A lot of them. Almost 95%.
And how many of them simply would say,
They wish they can do it all.
I wish that I just would have walked away.
All 100% now.
Right.
Some people don't
I
care.
want to pick out a couple of tragic stories.
That's why I said
2 weeks
not
ago,
care.
a girl, typical story. She was with a guy, got a baby by him. They broke up, and whatever reasons, and so he's with somebody else. The baby mama and the new girlfriend get into it on Facebook, and so then they offer a challenge. They go out they meet, have a fight. She loses the fight, unfortunately. She gets into her car, her truck, and run the girl over, and then repeatedly ram her into a tree, and she dies. Now, and there was a young person, a 13-year-old, I think it was in the car. Now,
This girl got
her life is gone, right?
Yeah.
In addition to the other girl died, but it's over what? What do you think she's thinking about right now in jail?
He ain't gonna be with me. I lost my life.
For what?
I did this over
Right.
and I got killed.
So you have to get to the point where you make decisions like that. You have to decide what's important to me.
Right.
In other words, when you're on the street, and if somebody disrespect you, you have a decision to make. Now, you could do some things and think that you will get your respect back, but it's going to what? Cost you. You will be able to sit up in Cook County Jail with your so-called respect. You have it. You're going to have it. Right? But at what cost?
Ms. Cross, did you see the other thing when this girl thought her guy was cheating on her and she killed herself? She committed suicide and then found out he wasn't even doing it. He ain't even cheating on her. He was so hurt, he committed suicide 2 days later.
So,
I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Because the family followed him.
The point is, anger, when it overflows and it's not contained, you're not helping, and you're not handling it, when what make us make decisions that we regret. So, now let's look at step 3. Made a decision. What is step 3?
Made a decision to turn our will
To turn our will and our lives over to the care of God
as we understood.
As we understood them. All right? And some say, as we understood them. That's it. Pretty much the AA and NA. All right. Well, how did we get to the point where we need to make a decision to turn our will and lives over to a higher power? What happened? We lost control. What else? So why something tragic happened? Well, look at steps 1 and 2.
Because certain acts we took upon ourselves to trap.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to step 1. What is step 1?
Power.
Powerless. And as a result of being powerless, what happened? Our lives become, yesterday we talked about powerless, and as a result of being powerless, our lives became what? Unmanageable. That's really, the first step is always the toughest step for most everybody, especially if you're discovering that you have a problem. Because guess what? Nobody wants to be what? What? Yeah, y'all afraid to say it? No one wants to be powerless. Why? Because all of our lives we have been what? In control. Mm-hmm. You've made decisions on anything, whether people agree with it or not, right? You got a boyfriend, you don't like him, you did what? You got a girlfriend, you didn't get along, you did what? You got a car you didn't like, what did you do? You got a house you didn't like, what did you do? Right? You got a job you didn't like. Right. So everything basically that you did, you made a decision and you were in control. You made the decision to do it. Even if people disagree with you, guess what? You were in control. Yes. Right? Then you started drinking and maybe using, and it started out what? Recreational. And you thought what? I can handle it. Why would you not think that you could handle it? But why would you think differently about drugs and drinking than you think about anything else in your life?
Because you've always had control.
Exactly. You've always had control. Why would I come to this? Even though you saw other people not being in control, what did you think? They ain't know what they don't know what they're doing. And then guess what? Many of us, we try to control it. Let's talk about that for a minute. How do we try to control it? Okay, say it again. Break it down a little bit more. How? Give me some practical examples. There you go.
Not using every day.
I'm just going to use what?
Once after one.
Right. On the weekends. Right? And the reason why did you think that would work? Be honest.
Because you thought it was the weekend. It wasn't every day.
No, that's not the real reason why you.
Because you thought you were changing your ways.
No, that's not. That's a good answer, but that's not the real reason why you thought it would work. Why did you think it would work?
Because you still feel like you're under control.
No, keep going.
Feel like you're in control, right?
No, why did you?
Because you still knew that you were going to do it again?
No, you jumping way ahead. Why did you think that this will work?
Because of the days that you chose
No, well, let me help you. When you think something will work, it's because you have what? Seen?
Other people in worse positions.
Yes, you've seen other people, you've seen it work with other people. Right? We don't really try anything until we see it work. Right?
Right.
One of the reasons why when I buy stuff on Facebook or buy off the internet, one of the things that I do all the single time, I like buy a lot of photography equipment, and even clothes and other stuff, but especially photography equipment. I never buy. The first thing I go through